Rockwall Ford is a proud sponsor of Rockwall County Game Day. Shop the rock and score game-changing savings on our all-American lineup of new Fords. Shop our entire inventory online at rockwallford.com or build your truck your way at preordermyf150.com.
Well, hello and welcome to More Than Just a Game, a little show that we do here Wednesday nights. We're live here at Rockwall Ford. I am Chris Pena, and I don't like the way this sounds in my ear. If you give me just a moment, because I need to fix that really quickly. Check. There we go. All right, that's much better. I hope everyone's doing well. Thanks for all the support out there, guys. We have a good show tonight. We have later on around 6:15. We have the Lady Jackets, Rockwall. They will be joining us tonight, and we're going to talk some volleyball as they are in full swing in their season. And then at around 6:35 to end our show, our last guest of the night, the Lady Bulldogs, Royce City. They will be here, and we will talk some volleyball as they're having a great season. They're in full swing, so excited to talk some volleyball. Obviously tonight. We will start we'll start the show probably in about 15 minutes. Myself, James Branch, and Kevin Wingfield. We're going to talk some football. And listen, it's not all doom and gloom. I know some teams need some wins. There's some injuries and things like that. We're going to talk about it. We're gonna have a little therapy session and get through it because Friday is a new day, and there's more football to be played, and it's an opportunity to get back into the winning side of things. So we're going to talk some football, and we look forward to it. I mean, I think at the end of the day, we want to bring some positive stories and talk about all the great things that the kids are doing in the community. I got to thank our sponsors, Rockwall Ford, obviously, Jeff Hicks, and everything that he does for the community. It's kind of Jeff Hicks and Rockwall Ford, along with their partners over at Jeep Dodge Ram. Seems like they're doing everything for the kids in the community. So, we appreciate Rockwall Ford for all they've done. Vice Henley and Dilbeck, attorneys at law. Their continued support, we appreciate it so much. Something that we can't do this without support from local businesses, and so we appreciate them. Hudson Financial Group, of course, they are the presenting sponsor for the Jet Williams Award, which in a few months after we get through football, we'll start talking a little bit more about that. But we appreciate Mr. Randy Hudson and everybody, Ross and all of them over at Hudson Financial Group. 7AR Baseball, Robinson Chirinos and Aldre Rincones, the support they give us and everything they're doing for the community, and the elite, baseball instruction that they give out of their facility located just off of I-30 past the Fate intersection. We can't thank them enough. We have a new sponsor. Super excited about. We can't thank Zach and Sarah enough with Firehouse Fence and Construction. We're really excited to have them on board, and it's just going to be hopefully a long partnership. But we appreciate their support right now, and it's much needed, obviously. Man, so much going on in around here. Before we get to football, around what's going on here, if you just look at college football right now, and I'll miss probably I don't know how many. I mean, I can think of Mr. Flores over at Incarnate Ward, the offensive lineman. But you look at you turn on the TV Saturday during the day, and you're going to see a kid from around here. Jay Fair over at USC. You got Lance Mason and Jacob Clark over at Missouri State. Zach Evans and Jordan Neighbors. Zach's at North Texas, Jordan at SFA, and they played each other this past weekend. Of course, Josh Hoover and the job that he's doing over at TCU. Becca Kelly, she's at TCU dominating some volleyball. I was looking at her stats the other day. We're going to put something out for her. Miss Ava Wallace, the former softball over at Rockwall, she's at Kansas. They just I saw her mom and her. They just posted their fall schedule in softball, so she's going to go get started at Kansas. Mr. Locke at Wisconsin, and we'd love to. Braden, I mean, I'd love to see Braden. Like, let's go ahead and get him in there. I'm not really sure what we're waiting on because Wisconsin QB stats they're not all that great. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. I haven't honestly watched the games, but love to see Braden get in there and get his time. But you just I could keep going and going, but I don't have all time. But it's pretty awesome to see all these kids around here, everything that they're doing and playing at the next level, and then being able to watch them on TV and even at the professional level. Deshaun Elliott for the Steelers, he gets an interception this past weekend. The former Hawk, Jet Williams is on the comeback with the Mets. So just so much going on around here. With these kids, and it's pretty awesome to see. And then you have commits. I mean, Miss Audrey Sinclair. I mean, she's a junior. She's a Rockwall volleyball, and she committed to Navy. And I could again go off and name a bunch of kids that have had some big time commitments. That's just the most recent one that's on my mind. But congrats to her and her family, and Navy. Wow, what an accomplishment that is for her and her family. I think if you're just tuning in, we appreciate those folks that are tuning in. As always, if you have some issues with volume or something like that, let me know. I'm watching the comments. I can turn up the volume for sure. Around in about 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, I'll take a break and I'll bring on Mr. James Branch and Mr. Kevin Wingfield, and we're going to talk some football for a solid hour. We're going to go through all the teams locally. I'll start with Heritage Christian, and I put out something on Facebook about the order that we're going to kind of talk about these teams, so you can kind of figure out when we're going to talk about your team. But you'll see it on screen. I did this new graphic. Hopefully you can follow along, and I'll make sure that I do this from now on so that you can kind of get used to following along or seeing what's next as far as the topics go. Other than that, hey, everybody knows if you watch this show, and I'm going to talk about it some more when the fellas get up here, what a Dak Prescott supporter I am, and the $60 million contract. I'm super excited for Dak. I'm super excited for the Cowboys. I'll say this, and this is my argument. A lot of people are like, "Oh, this contract." You're not paying Dak Prescott. You're paying the market value of a quarterback. If you look at the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, not one of them is named Pat Mahomes. There's only been one quarterback drafted after 2016 to win a Super Bowl, and that is Pat Mahomes. So the other guys on this top 10 list, of course, Dak now leads it. They're all making 50 million plus, and they haven't done anything either. But we love Josh Allen. We love Lamar Jackson. We love Herbert. None of those guys have done anything, right? I mean, and when I say anything, I'm talking about rings. To take it a step further, 6 of the guys in the top 10 have a playoff record of sub 500. So they're not doing anything, right? So we're not talking about paying Dak Prescott for what he has or has not done. We're talking about paying a quarterback market value and him he said I loved what he said about how he had a responsibility. We're talking about Dak Prescott to other quarterbacks in this league. Because if he's got to keep raising the bar so that other quarterbacks behind him, when it's their turn, they get paid. So yeah, I'm a huge listen. I'm convinced. I don't know. I mean, I'll say this: Dak Prescott will play in a Super Bowl, and I'm comfortable saying that because he's got 4 years to prove me wrong. But a lot of you won't even be watching me in 4 years, so I'm okay with that. You'll forget that I ever said this, and I won't have to eat crow on that. But yeah, so that's my spill on the Dallas Cowboys. I thought they looked fantastic. I think Jalen Hurts is way overrated. I think he had one good year. He already had 2 interceptions. I think Jalen Hurts is not a. I don't think he's a very good quarterback, and in the end, that's going to be the downfall of the Eagles. Dallas Cowboys win the NFC East, and that's my last spill on the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Mr. James Branch, Mr. Kevin Wingfield, we got a lot of football to talk about. We have a lot of teams to talk about, and we're going to get through this in about an hour and 15 minutes because after that, I've got to get volleyball on here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. This segment was brought to you by Rockwall Ford, rockwallford.com. Shop the Rock. Man, they got trucks like crazy out here. I don't just talk about it. I am about it. I bought a truck a couple weeks ago. I love this place. I love their staff. I love everything that they have going on up here. So, the weather's beautiful. Come on out. There's plenty of salespeople out here that can help you out, and you pick you out a new Ford or truck or SUV or get you one of those Broncos. Chris Pena, Rockwall County Game Day. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Rockwall Ford is a proud sponsor of Rockwall County Game Day. Shop the Rock and score game-changing savings on our all-American lineup of new Fords. Shop our entire inventory online at rockwallford.com or build your truck your way at preordermyf150.com.
1. And we are back. We are live here at Rockwall Ford. Ooh, that's it right there.
There we go.
That was it right there. That was the problem. We were having problems testing our stuff here. Let me center this up. See, I put names underneath you guys, so now
we are fancy now.
People,
3 years.
Yeah, people can now put a name with a face. They don't mix you up.
They're gonna know who to throw rocks at the next.
Yeah. Chris Pena, Mr. James Branch, Kevin Wingfield. We're back. We're live here at Rockwall Ford. This long segment, we might take a break. Is brought to you by Firehouse Fence and Construction. FirehouseFence.com. Again, I mentioned it earlier. We have a new sponsor, Firehouse Fence and Construction. Sarah and Zach, we appreciate them so much for coming on board, and we're super excited about that. As you can see here, we have a menu on the left over there. And that's the order we're going to go through. You two will be at a disadvantage because I'm gonna talk about these two schools real quick. But I mean, you can chime in. We've talked a little bit about them enough, so
Sure.
You might be able to chime in. Matthew, you put test on there. Can you hear? What are you testing? You testing the comments there? I do see you commenting. Yeah. So lots of football to get into. Lots of things going on, and you guys have had a few days to study and to think about what's going on. So we're gonna talk some football. We're gonna start with let's see if this works here. Let me see. We're gonna start with Heritage Christian football. As you can see, I put a little. If I can straighten it out. A little green thing around there kind of lets you know we're talking about them. The Eagles, let's talk about the Eagles. Heritage Christian and Coach Mack, they're 2-0. They have a 46-0 victory over Providence Academy, and then a 70-22 victory over Highlands. They've got them ranked number 29 in the Dallas area. I was sent Coach Mack an email just to try and get a feel for what's going on because I couldn't see any stats. They haven't updated them yet on Max Preps or anything like that. And he just talked about this offense is really finding itself. He talked about Carson Taylor's their leading rusher and leading passer. And they're really starting to find something, he thinks. He talks about offensive line and how Matt, Isaiah, Hudson, Nate, they've been grading very high. They've been dominant thus far. He said his quarterback's grading pretty highly in play calling and making changes at the line of scrimmage and showing much more discipline in his blocking assignments. That's a big deal in six-man football. If you Heritage Christian Academy, they play six-man football, and the quarterback has to do other things, and you could be a running back or a wide receiver, something like that, and you might be passing the ball. So, he just talked very, very highly about his team. They have a home game this Friday night against I believe it's Fannondale. I believe that's Fannondale. He talked about on the defensive side, he's got sophomore twins, Colton and Caden. Westmoreland, they're leading in tackles. Their front three, they're doing a good job putting pressure on the ball, playing in the opponent's backfield. And then, the back three, the outside linebacker, safety, tackling and the receiving spot, little to no yards after the catch. They're just flying to the ball. These are all positive things that you want to hear. And, obviously the scores, they show that for the Eagles. And, so I feel like, I think it was 2 years ago, they were just dominating teams, and they were really, thinking about state and thinking about taking another step, and they fell short. And then last year, I don't think it went quite as well for them. They're young, I believe, and so I mean, it's if you can get a team that's young and together and starting to find ways to win and play good, that could be a good sign for the Eagles.
Yeah, I like Coach Mack. Every time we talk to him or have him up here, he's always so positive, man, and he's always so upbeat. And it seems like, just based on the scores and even with you talking about his email, it seems like they're trying to find themselves, and they've got some talent. And look, anytime you can get a set of twins on your team, on the same side of the ball. I mean, we had a set of twins a couple of years ago, a quarterback and a safety, and man, it's just something about them working together, and they know what each other's thinking, and it's that twin power.
Oh yeah,
Eric
and
the Springs,
the Springs,
So I think that's a real bonus for him, and have them both playing defense, and obviously, as you can see, leading in tackles. So, man, I like their attitude. I like how Coach Mack is, what he brings and how he treats his guys, and
yeah, he's a good one. He's a good time. He's fun. He's fun to have on the show. And yeah, I think as this they're going to be fun to watch. And I know we had their kids on. I think the second show we had the Eagles up here, and they sounded confident. They sounded determined. They want to do something. They're certainly off to a good start, and hopefully they just keep the momentum going as the year goes on. The Heritage Christian Academy, the Eagles, they'll play this Friday home against Fannondale, and they'll look to go 3-0 as they head into the middle part of their schedule this year.
If you haven't watched a 6-man game, you need to take time. That is a lot of fun to watch those kids.
And you need to watch because it goes fast.
It goes very fast. Very fast.
It's really fast.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So we'll catch up with the Eagles and Heritage Christian Academy football on the show hopefully soon, maybe next week. Maybe I'll be able to get them on next week. So let's move on. Providence Lions Academy. I'm just going to touch on this quickly. The Lions, they're 0-2, and they're struggling just a little bit. Their next home game is this Friday versus Trinity School of Texas. I'm sure Coach Love, first year, they got a first-year coach. In that program, those kids, I think they might be on their third head coach in 3 years, right? So it takes time to, especially for the kids, to find their identity, for the coach to be able to, put his influence on the team and build it. So I'm hoping. We had the Lions and Coach Love on the show as well, and I really liked him, and I'm hoping that that's a coach that's going to stick around for a little bit for them and help develop some kids and help that team get on track. I have no doubt that they're working hard and they believe that they can do it. It's just going to take a little bit of time to build it, but I think as they go on, they'll be fun to watch. But I know they have a lot of pride over there, and I'm sure that I know Coach Love just from the 10, 15, 20 minutes that I spent with him. I know that he's got some pride, and I know that he wants to fix some things, and so we're going to catch up with them on the show soon enough and just kind of follow up with them, see where they're at on the season. But I mean, I know you don't know the team, but if you could, if you got to know something about first year head coaches and kind of like how what it takes. So we're going to talk about Roy City later on as well.
Yeah, hey, it takes time, and he's got to. He's trying to figure out what he's got just as much as the kids are trying to figure out him and the plan. And man, it's just it's always really difficult. And the way that the NIL rules work, you just don't have enough time. Really, you can't start practicing until August.
Yep.
And so you can do stuff in the summer, but it's not the same.
No, it's not. And you've got like you said, a third-year coach, 3 different coaches in 3 years.
Or UIL, sorry.
You've got some of these kids. Okay, they get comfortable, and then also we got to change. You get comfortable, got to change.
Well,
it's got to be in their heads.
And you don't really. It's if you look at like Rockwall or Heath, some of these established programs, right? The kids know what the coaches expect in these summer programs. They know they know that they've got to answer to these coaches. They know that these coaches are probably checking up on them and keep following up on them. And these coaches probably see them in the gyms, during the summer. So, but when you don't know who your head coach is, or you don't have really an identity, or you don't have a routine in the program, you probably don't have the kids doing that kind of stuff, right? And so now it's like, oh well, what do we do, Coach? What do we do? Because the last coach maybe was doing this, or maybe the last coach wasn't doing that, right? And so that's why they're not there. But so hey, I mean, the Lions and Coach Love, let's. We're rooting for you, and hopefully you guys get it going soon enough, and we'll have you on the show soon enough. Let's Now let's I'll tell you what. Let's move on to the Heath Hawks. Let me fix this box.
Heath
here.
Hawks.
The Heath Hawks. All right, so. Hawks off to an 0-2 start. I mean, they're home this Friday against Cedar Grove. They're a team visiting from Georgia. They lost 34-21 to Highland Park, and then they drop one to Prosper on the road, 49-18. Looking at this team, the offense for the Hawks is averaging around 244 yards a game. The defense is giving up around 340 yards per game. Just off that, that's not you give up 340 yards in high school on average. That's pretty good, to be quite honest. I think you're going to have kids get their yards. It's not like the NFL where it's like you want to hold them, 200 yards or something. Right. I think high school, 300, 340. I think the defense is playing well. But if you look up and down their roster, this is a young team. Lots of sophomores, lots of juniors, and that's not an excuse. And I know, Coach Webb and Coach Moore, we're not making excuses here, right? I'm just talking about the facts. Is the Hawks are young. Junior Luke Mitchell, 3.5 sacks, 5.5 total for a loss tackles. That's big time. They got a junior Zeke Cannon, 2 sacks. He's tied for the lead, the team in tackles, along with senior Lane Udzitsky.
That's a bad man right there.
Yeah, you got Keithan Jones has got an interception, 4 tackles. So I feel like, and when I saw the Hawks play the first game, I was really excited about the defense. I thought the defense looked great, right? They were flying to the ball. That's for me at the moment, that's the strength of their team.
Yeah, same here. When I watched them the first game, I liked the way they got around the outside. They were getting to the quarterback. Mm-hmm. I liked the linebacking core. They were getting some push. The running back was pretty fast. They got a receiver there that can catch the ball. I think
they're kind of I don't know the status of Carter Zom, but I know he's been hurt, but I know that's a piece that they miss on both sides of the ball. But go ahead.
I think there's some positives there and some pieces, and I think that they've got to figure everything else out. And look, you took on 2 elite teams right off the bat.
Yeah.
And so not making excuses, because you signed them up, you knew what you were getting.
Yep.
But I think that there are some positives to the Heath Hawks, and I think Coach Webb, I don't think there's anybody better. So I think if there's a way for him to figure it out. Now, again, we got a district that I'm sure we're going to talk about before this is all over with that has completely surprised me about the way this thing is going, even though we're only 2 games in. But I think Heath they've got some pieces, man, that if they can figure out how to put the rest of it together, they'll be okay. But
yeah, and that's why you play, your Highland Parks and your teams from Georgia and your Prosper. You play the elite teams now, so you can work out the kinks and see where you're at, and just move on from there. Heath is a young team.
Yep.
We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. It's the first time in 5 years that they haven't had a Hoover back there. And the Hoover boys were a couple of pretty daggum good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So, you got the new kid in there. He did good filling in for Hoover last year. He's still trying to get his feet wet. I was very impressed with the running back and how he hit the outside. He is quick.
Yeah, Ashton. We're talking about Ashton Bradford. He's speed. He almost hit 22 miles per hour.
If you look at it, that's the third running back they've had in the last 5 years,
yep.
And all of them were built about the same, and all have about the same speed. So they just have to figure it out. I think they're going to hurt a little bit more on the secondary. I like their linebacking core, but they do swarm to the ball on the defense. We just got to get that offense trucking.
Yeah, and I think obviously you think about offense, you think about quarterback, the senior Dutka and the sophomore Prosper Neal. They're kind of splitting time, right? So you wonder where that's going to go, and what direction that is going to go. I know Landon he's waited his time. He's a senior,
Yep.
and you have Prosper Neal, who just brings a different dynamic to it, the position at quarterback. I think we'll see it all year. I'd have no clue. I haven't talked to Coach Webb. Nobody's given me insight, but I do think at the moment, I think you could see the two splitting time this year, and we'll see where that goes. But yeah, I mean, you obviously more offensive production, but as you said, I mean, they've played some really good teams to start off, right?
It's not getting any easier either.
Right.
Well, I think the key for Heath this year, and I think we got to keep an eye on, is going to be that offensive line. They've got to give the quarterback and running back enough
Gotta
time.
get some time.
If Ashton gets around the outside, dude, you might as well let him go to the house.
Yeah.
You're going to have a hard
100%.
time catching him. So if that offensive line, I think that's the key to the rest of their season, is that offensive line being able to give Dutka and Prosper time. And if they can do that, then I think they can probably get some momentum going.
Right.
Yeah, and they've got some good young wide receivers. Christian Contreras. I mean, he had a big game for the Hawks last time, over 80 yards, and
Contreras.
Contreras. The coach Contreras is on the team, but he had his first touchdown. I mean, so. They've got pieces. They're young, but they're young at certain positions. But you would like to see the senior Dutka find a way to get that senior leadership to pull the kids together,
Right.
and figure out the offense a little bit and. Get that offense going, because you're right. It's not going to get any easier. I don't know anything about Cedar Grove from Georgia. I mean, they're 1-1, right? So it's not like they can't be beat. I don't know who they played, but I'm even wondering how that came to be. Like, how do you find a team in Georgia? Maybe it's just contacts Coach Webb have. I'm sure Coach Webb knows plenty of people, but I think obviously they're young, and I think I said that after the first game. There was a lot to be excited about. Obviously, didn't watch. I was at Dallas Christian. Didn't get to keep up with the Prosper game, but that's just one of those things where they gotta learn. And I've said it many times on this show. I mean, these games mean nothing. You could lose every one of these games, and then if you get in a district and you run district, you're sitting pretty, right? So
you just have to come out of these 4 games healthy
and improved, right?
Yes.
I mean, as long as you can lose a game, you can lose 2 games in a row, 3 games in a row, 4 games in a row, but if you improve each week, by the time you get to district play, you're going to be ready to play some ball. And so I think that's the key. Is obviously stay healthy, but I mean you've got to get better each week at something, and then keep moving forward.
Yep, absolutely.
Let's see. Matthew is commenting that the Cedar Grove team has won 5 state championships. I mean, hey, that was those teams, right? We don't know anything about this team. I mean, but it says that they've probably got kids that just come in and out of that school that are ready to play some football. We'll see what happens Friday night as they'll be that's first responders night. So I'll plan on being there. So I think it'll be good. I think hey, you're when you talk about Coach Webb, I mean, who else would you want handling that? And I think Coach Webb and Coach Moore and that coaching staff, I think they got a handle on it. But it's just one of those things where when you have a younger team, especially some younger spots, you're going to have to go through some ups and downs.
Yep.
Well, and I like it because it gives our kids a chance to get seen by some people out of Georgia. And, I think it's great. You get kids from Georgia getting to be seen for some people in Texas. And, anytime, I know a lot of teams do it. I know that, Duncanville does it. And,
nobody in Texas wants to play.
Yeah, so, but I think it's great when you can venture out and get your kids some exposure, and I think that says a lot for Coach Webb and what he's trying to do at Heath. I think this goes beyond football.
And it's great. It's just like the big baseball tournament we have coming in every year. You've got teams from Hawaii flying in here to play a baseball tournament.
Yep.
You got teams from Oklahoma and Georgia. So the more kids you can get to come in here and get our kids out in front of it, let's do it. Why not?
When's the last time you think you've seen Heath, at 0-2, and what do you think? You could speak to this a little bit, and we'll keep it, we'll keep it PG positive, but what do you think the the mindset is of maybe some people in Heath that are, just kind of like impatient or, things like that.
Well, I mean, Heath got the reputation of going out there and it's between Heath and Rockwall, and that's it. We got a little bit of a hump to get over right now. So, I mean, you've got to look at where we're at. I mean, we've got a new quarterback, basically. You've got young receivers. You got a young line. You got a young secondary. You're going to have to give these kids just a little bit of time. I mean, don't just give up on them yet. Don't go out there. I mean, you lost 48 to whatever to Prosper. Prosper's a really, really good football team.
Yeah.
They really are. Now, if you go out there and you lose 48 to nothing to, some 5A scrub team, then we've got an issue. But we're not losing to scrub teams. We're losing to state. We lost to Highland Park.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Seriously.
And that was a good game.
That was a very good game.
That was a game that they were in. I mean, but yeah, I mean, yeah, you just want to see. Let's see if we can get consistent. I mean, the running game. Big game against Highland Park, and then it slowed down against Prosper.
Yes.
That could have been Prosper just game planning and them just having a night. But again, I mean, hey, Heathhawks. I mean, we expect it. I think we expect everything to kind of balance out, and that they find themselves, and they're going to be a player, in this district, and have a playoff position and move forward. So we'll see where the Hawks go.
Yep.
Okay, let me move on to Dallas Christian really quickly. Boom, how about that?
Fancy.
Yeah. Dallas Christian, the Chargers. I mean, if you don't keep up with this private school football, the Chargers, they've won 11 state championships. They've won 3 in a row. They're going for their 4th in a row. They're 1-1 this year. They lost their first game at home to a really, really big San Antonio Cornerstone team. They had 85 kids on their sideline to Dallas Christian's 35. They're just platooning kids in, and they lost that game right at the end. I think 49-42 or something like that. It was a heck of a game. But the Chargers, they're finding their way. They had a big week last week. Luke Carney, he goes for over 360 yards. They've got a running back, Titus, who's just lighting it up. He looks good. Mike Amata, a wide receiver. This is a young man who has he's waited his time. You know what I mean? Like when you're Dallas Christian, you're loaded with kids, right? You've got big time kids, big time recruits at the skill positions everywhere, and he's just someone who's him and his family. They've just been at Dallas Christian, and he's just been waiting. Now's his time. And man, I don't know if you saw that catch that I posted of him. That was
crazy,
an unbelievable catch by that young man. But it's really good to see Micah get his opportunity and have that night on senior night. So this team, I was asked, kind of my opinion on Dallas Christian. This is a young team as well, right? And they're really young. They're not as big as they have been in years past. When they walked on the field the last couple of years, it was like, whoa, these are some big kids, and there's some swag going on. And now there's kids. They've got Dallas Christian swag because they're DC, right? But are they really believing it? Are they really feeling it? Are they going to come together? It all starts with their senior quarterback, Luke Carney, who's going for his 4th straight championship as a starter. He's the Syracuse commit. Everything that they do offensively, whatever success they have, it's going to come through him. Just because he's got really young. They lost 19 seniors. All right, so they have nobody returning on defense.
Wow.
So they're going to they're going to go through some ups and downs, and I wouldn't be surprised if they lost because they load their schedule up too. I wouldn't be surprised if they dropped another one. This is a team that's going to run through their district. This is a team that's going to be a force in the playoffs. But they're just going to have to really learn how to play together. A young team coming together, and those are things that we just talked about, Heath.
Yeah, it's good to have a little adversity, right? You're going to find out who you really are. And Has anybody done any? Has there ever been a quarterback win 4 in a row?
I don't know. I need to try and hit up Dave Campbell's. I'm sure they've written something on it just to try
Think
to find
about
out.
that for a second, man.
Yeah.
You from freshman to senior, you won a state championship every single year of your high school career. How does that even happen?
Know that it's done. I don't know if it's been done.
I don't know if it's been. I mean, he's I think he's done it. What's amazing about Luke Carney, the quarterback over at Dallas Christian, who's committed to Syracuse, is how he's developed. Like he was smaller as freshman, obviously, and he keeps growing, and he's gotten bigger and bigger, and he's just keeps. You get a different version of Luke every year, and so now he's just this tough quarterback that if he needs to roll out and run, he's going to run, and you're going to feel it. When you're 210 and 6'3" or whatever he is, 6'2", you're going to feel somebody like that running at you, right? So. I mean, it's just a testament to his hard work. I mean, I don't know that it's ever been done. They're chasing history, and I'm sure that's what they're chasing, right? Is 4 in a row, and I'm sure they want to top Alito with their state champions, right? And have the most in Texas in high school football. But hey, they're that's the only thing about Dallas Christian. They don't, and that doesn't mean that they're not going to be as good or as dominating. Right. They don't look like they have in past. They're a little smaller, and they're young. They don't have any experience. And if it's going to be up to Luke to take that offense and kind of groom these young wide receivers because he didn't. I forgot who I was talking to, but you don't want to put Luke in a position where he's feeling like he's got to take over every single play. He's going to have because eventually they're going to run into some teams deep in these playoffs where he's going to have to rely on somebody to make a play.
Sure.
And that's what all this time is for, right? To get all that stuff worked out. So
he needs to be the leader. And understand that part of being the leader is not having to carry the entire team.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's going to be the thing for him.
And it sounds like his evolution, he's there. Sounds like he understands that. So.
I think he does. I mean, he's a phenomenal young man to watch. After the very first game, they lost that game. We do a show there, a pregame show and halftime show and things like that. And I usually I have to wait about 45 minutes till I can really start breaking down because where we set up there, all the families wait for all the kids and all that stuff. It was probably about 45 minutes after the game, and he's just sitting on the football field.
Wow.
Still full pads, everything. He's just sitting there. And he's in good spirits, he's just talking. He's just he's just soaking it in, and he's just being in the moment, and that's a kid that just doesn't want to leave the playground, right? And so he's got all the tools. He's definitely there as a leader. And when Micah Mata caught that touchdown, I watched it from a different angle that I saw online, probably a huddle or some sort. I've never Luke's can move. Okay. I don't know. For some reason, I've never seen he darted. I mean, he was in that end zone in half a second. I feel like he got up to 22 miles an hour talking about Ashton Bradford. I mean, but he was so pumped up for Micah in that catch. And you can't teach that, right? I mean, he wants everyone else to have something, and that's pretty special.
Well, everything you just said about him, that's what separates good from great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what takes kids to that next level.
And that's what makes him a good leader.
Absolutely. So good for him, man. Good for Dallas Christian. I mean, if they can achieve that, that's a heck of an accomplishment.
Yeah, they'll go on the road this Friday night, and they'll look to improve to 2-1 on the season, and I think they've got just a couple more games, and then they start their district stretch. So the Dallas Christian Chargers will get going soon enough. Okay, let me take a quick break. When we come back, we've got Royce City football, and then we will follow up with Rockwall football. So this segment and the segment that's to come when we come back is brought to you by Firehouse Fence and Construction, firehousefence.com. thank you, Zach and Sarah, so much for coming on with us to be a sponsor. I'm Chris Pena, James Branch, Kevin Wingfield. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Rockwall Ford is a proud sponsor of Rockwall County Game Day. Shop the Rock and score game-changing savings on our all-American lineup of new Fords. Shop our entire inventory online at rockwallford.com or build your truck your way at preordermyf150.com.
Alrighty, we are back. We are live here at Rockwall Ford. I'm looking at my screen. It's like super laggy, and I hate when it does that. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you kind of like jumping, like it's just, I don't know, it's weird, and I don't like it. But we will move forward and figure this out as I. Oh, we don't want to do that one. I want to do that one, maybe. Nope. There it is. All right. On to Royce City, the Bulldogs. We go. Mr. James Branch, I'm going to give you the floor here. I mean, tell me. No, seriously, we're we're going to talk Bulldogs. You know, hey, this is first year head coach, Coach Colvin takes over at Royce City, and you know, kind of talked about it. You know, the Bulldogs. Listen, they're 0-2. They lose a heartbreaker to Rowlett, a game on Coach's birthday that I had a big old cake and celebration ready to go, and you know, I didn't feel like it was the time to do it after that game. You know, it was just it's a weird game. It starts raining. It's you know, it's just but you know, they just don't get it done, right? You know, I think we kind of talked about earlier how when you get a new coach in there, it takes time. You know, you're trying to build your program your way. Coach Colvin and that coaching staff, they're going to be fine. But I think what the kids are going to have to get used to is their way of doing it, right?
Right.
And you know, you're going to see a fast-paced offense. You're going to see go, 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 much like you see at Rockwall and you see at Heath, right? It's going to be speed, and here we go. And the negative side to that is, you know, if you're not getting it done, the defense is going to be on the field, right? And so they're going to be on the field a lot, go, go, go. And one of them has got to sustain. One of them's got to, you know, be able to get off the field quickly on the defensive side, and then on the offensive side, you know, you're putting pressure and you're just constantly pecking away at the defense on the other side, so where, you know, you can give your defense some rest. I think that's kind of it, right? I just on the outside looking in, I'm like, yeah, they're just they're kind of young at some spots, right? You're kind of waiting to see who's going to be that guy to take over the games, and we're gonna, we'll find out. Again, I think they're in the ball game, and they've got, hopefully they learn from it and they move on. But hey, Roy City. I mean, I guess I want it really bad for Coach Colvin. I want the Bulldogs to figure it out. They will figure it out soon enough.
Yeah, so I've got a lot on my mind, a lot on my mind. So if we're going to be 100%
do we need
fair,
a couch? Do you want to? I can put the camera.
We may have to.
Down. Okay.
We may have to because
we're going a PG show now.
We're going to talk about the good and the bad,
okay.
right? So let's start out with. So I went to the first game in person.
Okay.
And my wife and
he was in person. He
in
went
person.
in person,
not
out person.
And I will tell you, man, just a different feel, different vibe. Coaches dancing and jumping around, running, doing things. I mean, dude, it was like a completely just a different attitude and just a whole different vibe. And I'm talking about when they're out warming up, man. So totally cool, totally awesome. I loved it. And I talked to a lot of parents, and all I heard was good stuff about how they love the coach, how he treats everybody fair. It doesn't matter if you were here last year or not. This is what we're doing, and man, I think it's awesome. Kids are starting to get back into it, because of Coach Colvin, which I think is great, man. So that is awesome, and I love it because I think we need it. Now, both games against Plano East and Rowlett, man, penalties after penalty after penalty. Just bonehead stuff. I mean, first play of the Plano East game, man, you get an unsportsmanlike. I mean, on the kickoff, the very first on the kickoff. So, man, I think you got to fix those, obviously.
Right.
And interceptions, lots of interceptions. And 4 interceptions against Plano East, 3 interceptions against Rowlett. So you got to fix that, right? And they got 2 quarterbacks, Richardson and Peoples. And it's interesting that to see Coach Webb, Colvin, Coach Brooks, they're all running like a 2-quarterback system. You think they learned from each other or had anything to do with that? So it's kind of cool. Now, I don't know that Coach Colvin is doing that. I think he's trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
He's got 2 juniors, Richardson and Peoples. Both are juniors, and both bring different aspects to the game.
Right.
So I think he's trying to figure it out. And look, I mean, he was doing stuff. You and I were talking, man, going forward on 4th and 18 on his side of the ball. Well, what that tells me is I think there's a method to his madness. I think he's trying to test these kids, and he's trying to figure out what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Do you have the heart? What can we do? Can we make this happen? Do I think he would do that in a district game? No, probably not.
No,
I don't
think
so. I think there's a method to his madness, and I'm not at all giving any criticism because I think he's trying to figure it out, and he's trying to find out where these kids are and where their heads are at. So I like what he's doing, man, but they're gonna, man, they're gonna have to play with some intensity. And the defense is going to have to smack some heads around. And
I don't know that. I don't know the team well enough yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're playing together and there's some cohesiveness there.
Yeah.
But that we talk about things you can control, right?
Yeah.
I mean, penalties. You can control that, right?
Yep.
You can get better at that. That's something you can improve on. That's something that this coming week you want to see them get better at, right? You can camaraderie, team unity.
Yep.
Those are things you can control, right? Those are things that at the end of the day, the kids got to take responsibility for, and they got to figure out a way to figure out what they want out of this, they should be looking at making memories, making bonds with kids. They're calling their teammates their brothers, and playing for each other. Because I can this I can guarantee. They're getting the proper coaching.
Absolutely.
They're getting the proper coaching. Okay, so if you've got good coaches in place and you're getting good coaching, I think at that point it comes down to the kids they're going to buy in. Number one, if they're not, they won't be here that long anyway, right?
Yep.
But then number two, you got to take accountability when you talk about penalties, unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, just silly mistakes, and especially when you're younger, you kind of it's going to happen when they're younger, right? Especially if they're tired.
Sure.
You're going to see these penalties, but that's where you gotta be mentally strong. You're gonna find out who's mentally strong, because that's a big key in this.
It's the discipline.
Yeah.
We've talked about this every year.
Yep.
It's discipline.
Well,
and to get an unsportsmanlike on the opening kickoff, you're not tired. Now, if this is Rockwall against Heath, yes.
He's got
Okay,
he's got some seasoned kids too. You got Z Brown back there running the ball. You got Chapman, who's a senior. Chapman's been around. He played all the way from the league up. So the kid, he's seasoned as a wide receiver. You got Lopez. We've all said Sebastian Lopez on the defensive line. That kid he's a gangster, man. And but again, he can't do it by himself. Right. You got Hudson Hayes. That's the Hayes brothers, yep. Man. And he's playing tight end, and I think he even plays a little bit of D end. But he got a catch last week. So that was a really bad Rowlett team.
Yeah.
Yes.
That Rowlett team was terrible. And
I watched them play a scrimmage against Forney. They are not good.
No, they're not good. So
but they came up. They came up big in that game.
Sure, they did.
They of course. I mean, it kind of helped. Yeah, turnovers and yep. penalties and things like that. I mean, I think that the beginning of that first half, was just kind of like, I think Rowlett was on their third time punting. I think they punted 3 times in I don't mean like had a series punted. I mean like they punted, and then there was a penalty, and then they went for it. They got a first down, and then they had to punt again. The defense was playing pretty good.
Yeah.
They were holding them, but if you make mistakes and you let them have more opportunities when you're committing penalties, you at some point bad things will happen.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that it did, because that was a game. That's a game that I'll bet you if you replay that game 10 times, they win 9 and they lose that 1.
Well, and that's whole weird situation, man, between the weather and everything that's going on. Now, my point with that is that Rowlett being a bad team, this week we're going to Braswell, and even though Braswell's 1-1. They run a 2-quarterback system and a 1 running back, and all 3 of those guys will bust your head. And, dude, they're not afraid to hit. They're fast. And, man, they're averaging 44 points a game. And, I mean, they played Boswell. They won 46-42. They lost to Eaton 49-42.
Boswell's not that great. And
so
I don't know who Eaton is. So.
Well, they score a lot of points.
Yeah.
But they also give up a lot of points.
Well,
they had 3 turnovers against Eaton, right? So, but the point is this Braswell team is going to be better than that Rowlett team. Now, the week after that, they go play Weatherford, and Weatherford's not very good, and they get them at home.
Yeah.
So they're going to get a chance they've got 2 weeks under their belt. They're going to go play a pretty good Braswell team. I think we'll get a good idea of kind of the changes that they've made, and if they've cut down on the penalties, and then they'll kind of close out with Weatherford. And then they'll start district.
That's the thing about penalties, is it can make you, because you're talking about you're bringing up Rowlett and saying, man, that wasn't a good team at all, and you lost to them. I would say that Roy City's a way better team than Rowlett.
Much better.
But that penalties, self-inflicting wounds.
Sure.
Let that team stay around. If they clean up those penalties, they run away with that game. I think they're the better team when it comes to skill positions and being able to beat you in different ways. It's just they got to stay out of their own way.
Absolutely.
If they stay out of their own way, they're going to win ball games.
Let's see what they are if they get a clean game.
Well,
a couple of penalties, no turnovers. Then we'll go back and say, okay, this is what they need to work on. This is where they were going wrong. But I think I've said all along, I think when the coach went out there that they were going to be Rockwall East. So I think they're going to be a really good team. They've just got to get the mental stuff down.
Yeah,
and the discipline.
and listen, they're not extremely big, right? They're not, so they've got to play clean football. And if they can play clean football and minimize their mistakes, I think they'll do okay. And I wasn't in all saying Rowlett was a better team. Don't get me wrong, because they're not. But I'm with you. I mean, and at the end of the day, it's still an L, but I think it's only an L because of self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah, it's a pre-district L.
Yeah, so
it's just a learning curve.
If
This is where we go.
If we can fix those mistakes, fix the turnovers, and fix the penalties, I think we're going to be competitive, and I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah, I was talking to Longview game day, just exchanging a couple texts. He said Longview's down. He's like, don't think that they're the Longview team of last year, the year before, right? So, this district got very interesting because of we'll talk about Rockwall in a little bit, but this district got interesting, and it's going to be whichever team can grow the fastest, can mature the fastest. Is when we talk about the schools around here, Rockwall, Heath, and Roy City, then it's gonna be interesting. I think Roy City will be fine if they can clean up the penalties. If they clean those up and clean up the mistakes as far as interceptions, and that's something that I guarantee you, Coach Colvin and them, I guarantee you they're all over it.
Absolutely.
Coach Reed, I guarantee you all over that, right? So I mean, you would expect that to be cleaned up, and again, at the end of the day, the kids got to take accountability for themselves, right? I mean, if you're being coached, and I've said it, I say it again, I can guarantee you, they've got good coaches, and they're getting coached well. You gotta have kids that listen to your coaches.
Yeah, well, and I think they do. Like I said, just hearing from the parents, talking to some of the kids, they're buying into what he's doing. Again, it's still a first year, right? So it takes time, and he is installing a completely new system.
Yeah.
He's building this thing from the ground up.
Right.
And so I think those kids are buying in. I don't get any indication that there's anybody not buying in. I want to see this week. I want to see the penalties reduced. I want to see the turnovers reduced. I'd like to see some clean football. And if we can see that, and I reserve the right to take back my prediction at the beginning of the season, by the way, because I don't know who's going to win district. I don't even know who the top 4 teams are. And so
it's a crazy year.
It's nuts.
Let's see, 0-4, 1-5. We're 1-5. Excuse me. How many wins?
You got to win 3 games to make district.
No, I'm saying Rockwall's 1-1, Heath 0-2, Roy City 0-2.
Yeah.
Everybody's 0-2. Except for Longview. Longview's 2-0. Forney's 1-1. Rockwall's 1-1.
Yeah.
North Forney's 0-2. North Forney's 0-2.
Everybody else is 0-2.
Yeah. So it's crazy. It really is something that we haven't seen around here. But it's early on, right? And it's going to make for a really, really interesting district play. It's going to be really fun. So
every game in district this year.
Well, like I said, I'm not in any form or fashion, banging on Roy City. I think there's a lot of positives there, and I think it starts with the coaching.
Yeah.
And dude, I'm telling you, man, I couldn't be happier with the coaches and how this thing's going, and the attitude and the hype and like I said, I think it's just some things that, and you can clearly see in the game what he's doing. He's trying to figure out, just by the plays he's calling, you can tell he's trying to see what he's got, man.
Right.
And he's trying to figure it out.
Well, that's what you do in the pre-district.
Yep.
That's what you get, especially in the new coach and a new system.
And we're 2 games in, and they're going to get a good team this week. So I would expect things to start.
I'll put a score or a game prediction now. If Roy City can keep it, I'll give them 6. I'll give them 6 penalties. If they can stay 6 penalties or less, and no turnovers, they win by 10.
Wow. Okay.
I'm going to say that. I'm going to because I think they're a good team. I think you look at some of the plays that get called back, penalties and things like that. It's like, man, like this team could they'll put Rowlett away if they play a clean game for really a quarter. But they didn't, and so we'll move on, and we'll.
You
we'll
can see it on Coach Colvin's face too, right? When I was sitting in the stands or even watching online, you can see he sees it, he knows it,
yeah,
and because you can tell in his body, like he's like, "Dang man, come on," so he knows, and I think he'll get there, and I think they're going to be competitive, and man, you don't know, they may slip up and get in. I don't know. I don't know.
I can tell you this: it's going to be a celebration and a party when the Bulldogs get that win.
Yeah.
Because they're working hard for it, and I know how much they want it. So, who the Bulldogs got? Did you say
Denton Braswell?
Denton Braswell Friday night on the road.
Yes.
Yeah. So
That's
will
going to make it tough too.
Yeah.
It's hard to travel to Denton.
Well, I think this is where we start to find out, right? And we're going to start finding out exactly where we are. We're 3 games in now, right? So now. Okay, all the new season jitters should be, we've got a couple games under our belt for all of our teams.
Yeah.
So now we should start to see things develop and move in, getting ready for that district.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see what the Bulldogs bring Friday night, and we would pull out that first win of the year, and then we start moving forward. All right, let's move on to Rockwall. Listen, Rockwall. There's no, it was announced, so I don't feel, bad talking about it. I mean, the loss of Landon Locke, obviously the Wisconsin commit, heartbroken for Landon and his family. And I stopped by practice this morning. I saw Landon was out there and he was involved. Landon was out there, talking, with Brent, who's going to take over at quarterback, talking with Mr. Stoner and Gooch and Mr. Cam Marsh, and they were, and Coach, they were just all talking, and he's involved, and he's there trying to get better. And I saw Brent bouncing questions off of Landon. So that's the role he's going to have to play. I don't think he's scheduled to have surgery till October or something like that. But that's the role that Landon's going to have to play. And certainly I'm there's got to be a side of me that thinks that, man, he's going to make the most of that opportunity to help this team any way he can. But it certainly changes things. We think. Right, we think it's kind of hard to. I mean, Brent Rickard. I think he's a junior. He could come in and he surprises people, and but there's a reason why Landon was being recruited, and the reason he's a D1 quarterback. Right, he just is a different guy. It doesn't mean that Brent can't have success in the Lake Travis game. I think he had 116 yards and a touchdown. So I mean, he came in and was productive. When his number was called. But obviously, just again, I mean, our hearts and prayers and thoughts are with Landon and his family. I know that he waited his time for this. This was his year. This was his moment. And I know that there was a lot of excitement of like, wow, where can this quarterback take this team? And now it just changes things in the unknown, right? And I think for Brent, who's going to take over at quarterback, I think it's just a matter of being in the moment, and when you come to that first home game, and the everybody's cheering, which is in a couple weeks or a couple weeks they'll be back home. I mean, just making sure it's not too big, and you're like, wow, I'm the quarterback for Rockwall.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that once you posted it yesterday. If we've always talked about next man up, and excuse me, if anybody is going to have their team ready for next man up, it's Coach Brooks.
Yep.
They're a solid team, and the fact that Locke's out there at practice watching this guy shows what kind of leader he is and why he was where he's at.
Yep.
So I think that Rockwall is not going to fall down at all. I think they're still going to be the class of the district.
Well, I think it changes things,
yeah.
Right? Because we're talking about two different guys. So clearly it's different, okay? Fine. and man, I hate to see anytime a kid gets hurt or anything happens. It's terrible, and I think it's awesome. It's a testament to Landon's attitude and just the type of person he is, that he's out there helping and actively involved, not just standing on the sidelines. I think that's great. I'm not quite worried a lot because I know who the coach is.
Right, exactly.
And I know what they're going to do. And so I think if Brent just is himself, do what Brent does. Don't try to be Landon. Don't try to be anybody else. Just be Brent and follow the scheme. And I think you're going to do fine. You've got a great coach. You got a great team. The kids obviously got some talent. So just go out there and be yourself.
Yeah, and not only talent. I mean, if you look at what Rockwall has done, Jameer Wilson, take a running back, surprise, Rockwall's got running back. He rushes for 253 yards, 3 touchdowns in the first game. He had 155 and a touchdown on the road, Lake Travis. He's going to be the guy. I mean, it's they're clearly they want to run the ball. They can run the ball. They've got weapons everywhere. When you talk about Cam Marsh, when you talk about Gooch, Jackson Stoner, they've got guys that are, look at Jack Duckworth, on defense. I mean, he's got offers from Arkansas, from Pitt, North Texas, so I just think that, it's just going to be a matter of, just getting used to, and that's the thing. I say getting used to. They're probably already ready, right? Sure. I mean, and that was the last thing I kind of said to Coach. I mean, Coach was talking. Coach Brooks this morning was talking about how encouraging each of them has been, right? I mean, Brent is he feels bad, and he's for Landon, but he's ready to go, right? And it's he knows now that it's his team, and Landon's supporting him in that, so. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be ready to go. I mean, he's a junior. I mean, obviously, there might be a learning curve there. I don't know. And Coach Brooks may tell you, no, we're ready to go. There won't be a learning curve.
But learning curve's over Friday.
Yeah, I mean,
if I know Coach Brooks, they should be ready, right? Because he's a smart guy. He's not going to leave any stone unturned.
Look, I watched the end of that Lake Travis Rockwall game the other night. Rockwall's a half a yard from being 2-0. That was a heck of a decision. He marched him down the field, 5 seconds left, and you get Lake Travis playing 12 yards off the ball. You drop it 10 and get it. It was a great atonement for what they were trying to do, and for Coach Brooks to have the confidence in that kicker to throw him out there for a 51-yard field goal. I thought he had it.
Yeah,
they were a half a yard from being 2-0. What a great game it was.
Yeah, So I mean, I think they're going to be fine. It just looks different, right? And we'll see. We'll see where they go. From here, they're at Louisville, which anytime you travel on the road, it's tough. And then they've got home North Crowley, who upset DeSoto, right? So I mean, it's going to be this team is still loaded with talent. They've still got dudes everywhere, and that's going to make it, pretty, not easy, but it's going to make it easier for Brent to step into that starting role.
Right.
And again, Locke was out there this morning talking with him. I think he's got all the support, he's got all the tools in place, and then the coaching staff is obviously we always talk about how much we love that coaching staff. They're still putting up yards. I mean, 560 total yards in the Lake Travis game. I mean, they're still doing their thing.
Yeah. Well, and look, I think we circle this all back around in a package. I think all three of our teams, all three of our Rockwall County teams, they got good coaching and they got good kids. So I think we're all going to be okay. The record doesn't reflect it right this second, but I think if we can. I think they all have the ability and the talent to be all right by the time we get to that fourth game of the year and we start district.
Exactly.
So and of course we kick off district with Rockwall. So here we go.
Yeah, welcome to that mess that this half of the last few years.
Yeah, I think anybody who thinks that Rockwall, now we got a shot. Now everything's changed. They lose Locke. Excuse me. I think Coach Brooks is salivating on that and being like, okay,
Absolutely.
if that's what you think, if you really think that he and he's talked about that when I was talking to him in his interview earlier this year. I mean, about all the different quarterbacks, and he basically said, hey, listen, we're just kind of ready to go. It's built into the program.
Yeah.
They're all really good quarterbacks. They're not system quarterbacks. They can all do really good things, but everybody does it a little different, and they seem to all have success.
Yep.
So there's no reason to think that they won't have success with this quarterback.
I think all three of these teams, and again, just going back, I think Coach Webb started building it. Coach Brooks carried it, passed it on to Coach Colvin. Now we've got all three of the guys at Rockwall County schools, and I think in the next couple of years you're going to start seeing – now you got a 3-game rivalry. You don't have a 2-team rivalry. You got a 3-team rivalry. So, it's going to be really cool, man, to really kind of sit back and watch this thing.
I will say if there's anything they want to clean up, I mean, and this is early on in the season and it happens, Rockwall 22 penalties in 2 games. That's something that, obviously
preseason jitters, man.
It's one of those things
Every
that,
year.
that's just players taking accountability, understanding their job, and
right.
And making sure that they're disciplined on that side of the ball, whichever side they are. But penalties can hurt you, obviously, and so I have no doubt that they'll clean that kind of stuff up. But I mean, you talk about it running back. I mean, shoot, that's 300. That's 370 yards in 2 games. And here we thought them losing a running back to UTEP was gonna mess things up. But I mean, they've just kept on rolling. So
it's just a testament to the machine, man.
Yeah,
they got a machine, and I think Heath's going to get there, and Roy City's going to get there, and that machine just going to keep churning and churning and churning. And it starts with, and again, something Coach Colvin said in an interview with you earlier in the season, starts at the Little League level, and those coaches getting involved. And that's what happened with Coach Webb and Brooks, and Colvin was involved with that, and he's going to do that in Roy City. And that's really – look, man, that's what we've been lacking. And I'm sorry, but I've been there.
Yeah, I
was in Little League. I get it. I know. I'm not an outsider looking in. Now I wish – anyway, but that's where it starts. And that's where you start building your program. You start building your program at the Little League level, man, and you work that system all the way up. And that's why Rockwall and Heath are where they are.
Yeah,
that's why
Period.
South Lake Carroll was always
successful.
Alito,
Highland Park,
successful.
Absolutely. All the elite teams, man. That you start, and you got to build it, man. You got to build something there, and I think that's what we've got, and I love it, man. I love it.
Well, not all doom and gloom. Listen, there's obviously once again our heart goes out to Landon Locke, and you hate to see it, but we got to move forward, and the team's going to move forward, and I don't think anybody's really started out the way they wanted, besides Heritage Christian, who's feeling pretty good. But I mean, it's really about where you are in 2 weeks from now. To be quite honest, 2 weeks from now is when you hope to have all this worked out, and then we move through district, and that's when we're playing real football.
Right.
The district is interesting, man. I don't know if we're going to get into that at all. It's just interesting. We've all watched all of those teams, I think, at some piece and point. So I don't know if we got time for that.
Yeah, we got 10 minutes. So let's talk about the district as a whole, right? You got North Forney, who's 0-2. Roy City 0-2. Heath 0-2. Rockwall 1-1. Forney's 2-0. 1-1. Longview's 2-0. And then who am I leaving out?
Legacy.
Here?
Did you say Legacy?
Legacy's 0-2.
And by the way, I watched Legacy on TV when they played Texarkana, Texas High, and they look like the same Legacy that we've had before. They come out and they just punch you in the face in that first half, and then in the second half they just kind of start dying down a little bit, and the team takes over and they win. And don't get me wrong, that Texas High team they're a ranked team in Division 5A, so in D1. But nonetheless, Tyler came out and punched them, and they hung with them that first half. But then they kind of started in Texarkana, kind of imposed their will on them. So, their point being, Tyler's not going to lay down. They came to Roy City and beat us last year. You and I called that game. So, and then obviously I think North Forney, you know a lot about them. They've got problems.
They've got
And-
problems. That's all I can say about that.
They got
they
problems.
just have problems. I'll be surprised if they even finish most of their games this year. They have problems.
Man, and they were
I
they
go-
were so
I watched-
promising when Coach Luster when he's there, and Coach
Yeah.
Luster's moved on. But yeah,
I've been going to the Forney games, not the North Forney games.
Well, and then talk
Now-
about Forney.
Now-
Last
now,
year
I'll tell
was
you right now, Forney has got a quarterback. They've
Yeah.
got a really good young quarterback, Adrian Peterson's brother. The kid is strong. He's tall. He throws a pretty ball if he's got time. Now, if he doesn't have time, he's just another typical quarterback. Their running back that was, their highly ranked running back from last year, he doesn't have the same offensive line, so he's not getting the yardage. But they are also, Coach Flander's doing a really good job with that team. They're young. I see them. I see what they're doing. They've got to clean up their penalties. Got to. They are one of those teams that will hit you with the big play, but when you kick it off, they may give up the big play. They've got to stop that. When I put them up against your Heath and your Rockwall and your Royce Cities and maybe even your Legacies, it's going to be a shootout.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a shootout. They are a good team.
I think
They're a
coming
very
into
good
it,
team.
coming into this year, I think we kind of talked about, and really because we didn't know what Royce City year one. I think we Rockwall, Longview, Forney, and Heath, and you give Heath they've earned the credit, right? To be like, all right, they're one of the teams in this district, and that you look to make a playoff spot. Do you still feel that way, or you think, all right, this is a little bit more wide open than we thought?
I still stick with my prediction of the four teams. I think it's going to be Rockwall, it's going to be Heath, it's going to be Forney, it's going to be Longview.
And I agreed with you on two of those.
Right.
I think, and I think it's still a little. I think it's a little more wide open. I mean, you made the comment Longview is kind of down, but didn't they blow them out last week? I mean, didn't they put up some big numbers last week?
Yeah, he could have been
And,
setting me up, my guy Morgan.
Yeah,
he could have been.
First
He could have
game
been
they beat
setting me up
Lufkin.
last
I
night.
think they beat Lufkin 7-3 first game. I don't
Right.
know anything about Lufkin, but that's
And then they put up 40, I think, last week. And then I think they play a big team coming up. I think they play DeSoto or they play
Do they?
Yeah, I think they play a big team either this week or next week. And
well a lot to do with that. When we start is that Longview drive is brutal.
Yeah.
So anybody that has to actually go to Longview and play, that's going to be rough.
well, that's
gonna
like
be
Rockwall
You know,
will travel there.
And I'll tell you right now, coming to Forney, you go to Forney, their house, that place is packed.
Yeah.
Their stands are completely full. I've never seen anything like it other than when Rockwall Heath.
And I don't
played.
really want to go to Forney. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't really want to. I don't really want to do that. I don't know if we do or not. We might have to.
They play South Oak Cliff.
South Oak Cliff. That's who.
This Friday.
Okay, that's
Wow.
who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who's
they play
got them?
Sock Longview.
Longview.
So
That's
yeah,
other end of the world for
Yeah.
each other.
yeah, and for us traveling, man, we've been to Legacy, we've been to White House, so I don't know that going to Longview is that far of a stretch, but I would rather. Well, I'd rather.
We'll see Longview at Heath. They'll be
Yeah,
they're
they'll
at
be
home.
Heath, yeah.
I'd
yeah,
like
they
to play
Heath, yeah.
Longview and Forney at home. I know I'm probably not going to get my wish, but I really don't want to go to Longview or Forney, to be quite honest with you.
Yep.
I don't want to go to
They're,
Royce City
they're,
either,
yeah, Longview. Royce City's at Longview. And who'd you say?
Forney.
Forney. Let's see what they have for Forney. They play Forney at home.
Okay, so all right, I get 1 out of 2, but
I'll
yeah.
throw rocks at you.
yeah. So I think the district's a little more wide open now. I do think Rockwall's going to be just fine. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't at all.
think they're going to be.
I think they're still the top team in the district.
And you know what, man? I think the way that Coach Brooks set this team up is it's not a one-man show. Even
Right.
though you had some real studs, but you had multiple studs, and you
Right.
still have multiple studs. So, not that the players are interchangeable, but the system that he's got good kids that can step up, next man up, and fill in. And I think Brent's going to be just fine.
I think Rockwall is still the cream of the crop until they're proved not to be.
yeah.
And that's it. And they've earned that.
I don't
They've
think it'll
earned
be
that
that.
over the last
I don't
4
think
or
it'll
5
be
years.
this year. I don't. I really don't. Now, who the 3 teams are behind them, it's left up to see. I mean, you don't know until you play these games, until you get in a district, that's when you're really going to find out what you have. I don't know. Roy City and Heath, they've haven't had the starts, obviously, to say the least. But I think they're still going to have something to say when all this is said and done. And I think the battle for that third and fourth spot is going to be really interesting.
It's
I
going
think
to be
so,
a
too.
fight. It's going to be a fight.
So, So hey, that's what we have to say about football, and I think I think we covered quite a lot there. I think. At the end of the day, listen, we celebrate the great kids and everything they're doing. I mentioned it at the beginning when I first came on. When you turn on the TV on Saturdays and you see all the kids from around here that are playing football on TV, when you just look at Instagram and all the kids that are playing at the next level at different sports, softball, volleyball, and then volleyball, Rockwall volleyball. They've got girls that are committing to schools. One today committed to Navy. So I mean, it's just a beautiful thing to see these kids thrive and have opportunities. It's loads of talent around here. I'll say this. There's a formula to every problem, right? Every team can have success. They've just got to figure out what the formula is on that team and execute it.
Yep.
That's good. That's true for Roy City. That's true for Heath. Obviously, Rockwall and Dallas Christian, all these teams. But they got the pieces. They've got talent. They just got to figure out. They just got to figure out how to put it together.
Yeah, look, I would recommend everybody needs to tune in as many of these games as you can because
Exactly.
we don't know. I mean, dude, it could go either way,
Yep.
and I think you're going to find some really competitive football. I don't know that anybody's necessarily going to blow anybody out like we have in years past, and I might be wrong, but I think you're going to find that this district's going to be really, really competitive.
It's going to be competitive this year.
Well, this Friday night, it's there's always the debate: is it Texas? Is it Florida? Is it Georgia? Who's got the top high school programs in the country? It's Georgia versus Texas at the Wilk Friday night. Heath Hawks, they're playing a team from Georgia, Grove, I think.
Cedar Grove.
Yeah, Cedar Grove.
I think Heath's gonna figure it out, man.
Yeah, it's first responders night. It's gonna be a great night there at the Wilk. If you don't have anything going on, please make your way out there and obviously support first responders night and then also we'll cheer on the Hawks for a big win. All right, that's it. We are in football. We're going to take a break. Mr. James Branson, Mr. Kevin Wingfield, thank you. Yeah, I love that you're repping the shirt. I did not wear my shirt, so I feel out of place. But appreciate you wearing that.
He also took up 4 parking spots out there.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
It's just one of those things.
Do you see how many trucks they have out here? I saw that spot and I was like, I'm taking it right now because if I get wedged in, like I'm getting better with a trailer. But if I get into a spot that I got to maneuver a little bit, nobody's safe. Nobody's going to be safe. So and don't get me backing up. Okay.
You are admitting that.
If I see my neighbors out, in the front yard or something, and I have to bring the trailer home because I store it elsewhere, I wait for everybody to go inside, and then I
that's
come
funny.
back because
That's funny.
And I can't if I try to back up let's see, if I'm facing away from if I'm facing let's say to the right. I can't do it because I can't see where the trailer's going on the other side. I have to be on a certain side. I'll have to pull the trailer and I have to be so many feet from the curb. And I know that if I'm too far away or too close, then I've got to go around the block and I got to get it nice and straight so that I can back it up.
Over and take some of that man card away.
Man,
he just gave it all.
We're gonna have to renegotiate his contract.
I tell you.
All right, guys. Hey, hopefully we'll see you next week. We'll talk a little football.
Man.
Hopefully we can get some players and coaches
Let's
on,
get some wins
and
on
we're
the
talking
board.
about some wins. Don't go anywhere. We still got stuff to talk about. We have volleyball coming up. We have the Lady Yellow Jackets. They're waiting. They're going to come on here in about 2 or 3 minutes. So don't go anywhere. Firehouse Fence and Construction. This hour plus was brought to you by them. Firehousefence.com. We appreciate our new sponsors. thank you so much for sponsoring this segment. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these messages.
Rockwall Ford is a proud sponsor of Rockwall County Game Day. Shop the Rock and score game-changing savings on our all-American lineup of new Fords. Shop our entire inventory online at rockwallford.com or build your truck your way at preordermyf150.com.
Okay, we're back. We're live here at Rockwall Ford. This segment brought to you by Alpha Graphics. If you see my pretty trailer, I say pretty. I gave it a wash today, and then it rained. I didn't even know it was supposed to rain.
I didn't know either.
So now it's all dirty again. But thank you to Alpha Graphics for hooking us up with the trailer. Lady Jackets volleyball. We're joined by, let's see, so we got Mel, Sophia, and Maddie. We got some captains up here, all three of you captains.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. Hey, let's kind of get into it. So you start district Friday, and it's a big one because it's the rivalry that is big in this town, the I-30 Classic. You guys will go to Heath the first game.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So district starts Friday. So you tell me. We'll start with you, Mel. Just kind of how the season's gone. You guys had some success at a tournament and things like that. But just how's everything going this year?
Everything this year is just different. We started off just like adjusting to playing like with different people and different girls. But I think because we didn't have summer skills this summer because we wanted to jump right into it the school season. We adjusted really quickly and everybody's gotten comfortable with each other. So once we went to the tournaments, we just came out kicking butt. We got 5th at NISD, right? And
Yeah,
then at
yeah.
Volleypalooza in Austin, we got 6th.
How many teams like go
At
to it?
Volleypalooza, it's like 68.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a pretty, like, people come from, like, Arizona, like, all over.
Yeah.
The this volleyball season, as you've gone into it, you say it's different, Mel. Is it just the new faces? Is it like trying to learn, how each other operates, how you communicate with each other? As a captain, just kind of what's been your take on this team?
I think last year we had like a really extroverted team. This year we have a lot of introverted people. So as a captain, I came out. I was like, I'm gonna get you out of your comfort zone. You're gonna be loud.
Yeah.
You're gonna go crazy on the court.
Love it. Yeah, I love it. And I mean, there's all sorts of different captains and leaders, right? Some are vocal, some are just by doing it, and they follow what that person does because they do it right. So you have to figure out what works. But yeah, I mean, it's you're used to seeing loud and some cheering going on, from the girls that are on the bench and certainly the ones that are on the court. As you guys get set for district, just kind of what's Coach Ferg's message been? What have you guys been trying to do to make sure you're ready for district play?
We focus on like what we can control. We're the people on the other side of the net. They're gonna get good hits. They're gonna get good kills, good plays. We can't do anything about that. But move on, next play, come back and be better than what they just did.
I know that didn't you have an injury?
Yes.
Last year, was it last year?
Yeah, last year I think on senior night, so like almost one of our last district games, I sprained my ankle, so I was out for a good 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, when you have injuries on the team, or if you have an injury, what's the job to be able to pick each other up of you or a captain? Just saying, hey, we have to. It's the next person up.
I mean, you get an injury, yeah, it sucks for you, but the next person, you just have to like support them and encourage them. Like for me, Janie came in and man, she did a great job stepping in that role last year, and I did everything I could to support her. You can see me going crazy on the bench for anybody that did last year.
And
I'm
then
jumping
I'm
and
gonna add
screaming.
also, like, at our tournament, was it Volleypalooza? Janie had gotten hurt, and one of our sophomores, Zaylee, like she stepped up. So like really anybody on the team, like we're stacked, honestly.
Yeah.
Like everybody's capable of stepping up and filling a role.
The hitters
100%.
are very good at doing that. They find a way to step in different places for sure.
We're talking with the Lady Jackets volleyball team as they are set to start district play this Friday at Heath. Always expect a big crowd and loud, and it's going to be one of those games that everybody always remembers. The I-30 Classics. They're just fun to be at. Mel, before I switch over to Sophia, just your senior year. How much are you enjoying this? How much are you, just looking forward to, what's to come this Friday, and really the rest of the year?
I mean, I love this. I mean, it's my senior year. I want to go out with a bang. I want to do the best we can. I want to have fun with all the girls. I love everybody on the team. I love Ferg. I love Dee Dee, Coach Byford, Coach Taylor, Coach Bucket, everybody. And I think the future is bright for us. And then this Friday is going to be crazy.
It'll be fun.
It's going to be a good game. We played Heath in Battle of the Rock, and even other schools were coming to come watch this game. That's how crazy the vibe is.
It was good.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun this Friday. Do y'all get to play the early game? So do y'all?
Yeah, we play at 5:30.
Okay, I was going to say.
That's how
so
it is for like every Friday.
Yeah.
now.
It's definitely
it?
different. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I always hated that. I was like, man, they take part in the football game,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And or you have to choose, like which
Yeah.
one am I going to as a fan or as a parent, especially if you have kids at two different spots. So that's good to go. This Friday night, the Lady Jackets will take on Heath at Heath. Sophia, let's talk first off. 500 digs, a milestone you reached. So
Yes.
congratulations.
Thank you.
You just talk about being a captain and your role on this team.
I would say my role on this team is almost like a mom. I would say like Mel's got the energy. But I think I would say I'm more of a mom, like help planning things, making sure everybody keeping the locker room clean, just little things like that.
You bring in the snacks and the making sure
Got the
everybody's
snacks.
hydrating.
Mm-hmm.
As you approach district play, just where's the confidence level of this team? This obviously the Lady Jackets are known for making the playoffs, and you're going to be a tough out. If you're going to go out, it's going to be tough, right? Just what's the mindset as you head into district?
So. First off, this season we have a new coach for freshman B, and she's also like our mental health coach. So every morning after practice for 30 minutes, our whole team gets together with her, and her whole goal is to build up our confidence because that's a big part now. And so really we've been working on her with that. We have a lot of things we do. We have like breathing we do. And really she helps out so much, even like on the court too. We know we can look at her and she can help us out. So I think she's going to play a big part in that this season.
Yeah, y'all got fans on here. Shanna Eddington.
Oh, yeah.
These girls are fun to watch. Go Lady Jackets. It's just you got to love the community around here, especially how they come out and support. Every year's different. Obviously, you have seniors graduating. You have girls that are coming in, maybe freshmen or sophomores, right? What's been different about this year that you've enjoyed?
I would say like obviously like Mel said, last year we were very extroverted and this year more introverted, but it's also like good for us to be able to like see that difference. And like I was like in the beginning it was very quiet, like even over off season like last year we kind of realized that we were gonna have to like pick it back up and get it back. But it's fun. It's a different group of girls, and so I love them all. Like the sophomores love them to death. I love them.
They're freshmen in our eyes.
Yeah,
we call them freshmen.
Yeah, because now we don't have freshmen at our school, so we're like, y'all are still our freshmen.
Oh, that started this year.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
So,
all right. Yeah. So that's way different. That dynamic of your team, the sophomores not having freshmen there, does it really make a difference? Missing the freshmen. Do you think that that's something that as far as them just watching and being around the varsity team every day and getting that experience, do you think that's something that kind of could hurt the team?
I mean, I would say yes, but also like we've all done a good job like trying to keep the freshmen in the loop because. Like this summer, like it's like we don't see them ever. Like especially for games, they have to play at the freshman center. So and we don't get to see them for our home games. But when we go away, like obviously we go and cheer them on and stuff. But we do big sis, little sis, and we have like 4 freshmen on JV. But so we get to see those girls all the time. But then those at Rock 9 or whatever, we like plan things around them. So like this Friday for our first district game, we're gonna do like a gift reveal and stuff like that. So
very cool. I like it. I like staying connected with them and doing your part. That's really cool. That's a good idea. This team, as you get prepared for district play and things like that, what do you enjoy the most? Is it road trips? Is it just time away from volleyball? What is it that just really you just love?
Well, obviously the tournament season is always so much fun.
Yeah.
And we're all sad that we don't get to be part of that anymore. But it's so much fun, and I think that also helps build our team's like chemistry too. But honestly, like we have so many dance parties. We have so many dance parties, and it like brings it out of everybody.
I'm trying to figure out who's introvert, like because it sounds like everybody's having a good time.
I mean, we push people. No, but in the beginning, like she said, in
just
preseason,
stand there.
Yeah,
and, like,
they were
not
quiet.
talk.
Yeah, in the beginning, it was just like me and Rihanna Robinson, a junior we're out there screaming our lungs out. Everybody's just like. But tournament season is really when you saw everybody
really close.
We have this. We talked about this the other day in the locker room with Ferg. That outside of volleyball, you may be one way, but once you get on that court. Like a alter ego snaps.
Yeah. I got a comment about the tacos at the parent meeting.
Oh,
they were different for sure.
Who said that? Who said that?
You may know him.
Yeah, you might be my dad. Yeah.
That's something we did too. Like, as I said, like we're trying to build our team's chemistry. We for the parents meeting, we like varsity served tacos. We like took their what they wanted. We wrote it down. We went to the server. It was fun. Honestly,
it was
we
a
all
5-star restaurant.
Yeah, it was a 5-star restaurant. it was great.
If you have complaints, don't come back.
No, yeah.
Come back.
That's awesome. We're talking with Lady Jackets volleyball squad. They're set to start district this Friday. Sophia, before I move on to Maddie, this just from a competitive standpoint, how locked in do you feel like you are and this team is? And then next part of that question is, who's a player that's not here that's just stepping up and you're like, oh, it's fun to watch.
Honestly, like our team, we all have the same goal. We all like want to get as far as we can. State, obviously. We've played some big teams at these tournaments, and we've realized like we can hang with them, and like we have really good potential. And so that, and then a player, Hallie Jameson. She's one of my really good friends too, but on the court, like she's very composed and she just brings off a different energy to the team, like keeps everybody up and spirited. And so and she's was gonna be here. She's one of our other captains, but she couldn't come. She's sick. But yeah, she's going to Colorado State for volleyball.
Yep.
Go Rams.
Yeah.
Go Rams. Yeah. So, congratulations on the the milestone and then everything you've accomplished, and good luck the rest of the way. I'm sure it's going to be a fun finish for sure. Maddie, you have milestone 2, 1,000 assists,
yes,
right?
Woo!
Yeah. So that's something to celebrate. Thank you for being here, by the way. Your role as a captain, everybody kind of wastes their turn, right? What does it mean to you to be named as a captain?
It means to me that I just cheer everyone on. I try to be everyone's biggest supporter. Last year, that was my main job. I was everyone's biggest supporter. And so I try to carry that on this year too. Even if we're down, I just try to be everyone's biggest supporter and be really loud.
Talk about the challenges of being down, up and down. It's especially when you play so many games. Y'all play a lot of games, right? And there's going to be moments where y'all are flat and just nothing's really working. And then there's going to be games where everything's clicking and there's just a lot of emotion and hype during the game. How do captains try to control that emotion, and how do you erase really a flat game, and then you have to play maybe a couple hours later and you got to get going again? How do you kind of manage that?
We have to rely on each other since we're all in at different times. We all just kind of have to rely on each other and Mel's energy and Sophia's energy, and we all play different positions. Mel hits, Sophia's in back row, Hallie also hits, but we all just have to feed off each other in different ways to keep the team up. And it's hard sometimes, definitely, but we just have to feed off each other in different ways to find that energy.
The mission this year, obviously, the end goal is, right, you want to win state. But as you approach district, do y'all have goals? Do you have something that's all right, let's focus on this first? Is it game by game, or what is it that you guys try to stay focused on?
We just kind of focus on, it's not really game by game. It's kind of just I feel our thing's just the next play. It's not really
I'd say point
game.
by point.
It's just next play. That's kind of our biggest thing this year. And then what we are really focusing on this year is just our team bond.
100%. Yeah.
That's our biggest thing this year is team bond and next play.
The amount of work that goes into this, what can you tell, younger girls that maybe see this or, their mom replays it, things like that? What is it in this sport that you have to be committed to play at a high level?
You definitely have to be committed to waking up early. And you have
4:50.
And you have to be committed to just wanting to always be there for your teammates, whether you're playing or not. You just have to be their biggest supporter, everyone's biggest supporter.
I want to add on to that. I think if you're wanting to play high school volleyball, one thing you have to be good at is just learning how to brush things off. I mean, there's sometimes you get coached and you're like, hey, you're not doing this right, you need to do it like this. You can either go by oh no, coach said I'm not doing this right, or you can be okay, I got the next play, I'm gonna correct it and do better for my team.
And we've definitely all been through all
Yeah,
of it. Like,
100%.
it sucks at some points, but you've got to push through it, know that everybody's got your back.
It's your attitude, the way you go about it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
For sure.
Yeah, that's kind of where that mindset, the mental coach comes in, right?
Yeah.
How long have y'all been doing that for a while, or is that something new?
Just this year, yeah. She's new this year. We love her. We love her.
She's really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before I'll let you ladies go, just want to talk about Coach Ferg and just he's such a big supporter. Obviously, I'm not around all the time, so I don't see the coaching aspect, and getting deep into it. But just what he means to this team, and how much energy he puts into you girls.
Coach Ferg puts his whole life into this.
Yeah.
And honestly, we don't thank him enough.
Yeah.
He, without him, I feel like the vibe's off because he's like the dad, we're all his kids. He's our dad.
Yeah.
He's our biggest supporter. And then he does a good job with pulling you aside. Say you do get taken out, he does a good job of pulling you aside and telling you what exactly you did wrong. And he's like, hey, you're going to go back in next time around and you're going to be able to fix it. Don't sweat it.
Mm-hmm. And he definitely, he can be hard on us.
Yeah.
That's just part of it. It's part of the sport.
It's part of coaching.
Yeah. But he, we all know in the end, he's pushing us to be better. And, he's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, ladies, thanks for coming on. You guys are just, if everybody on the team has your energy, or maybe you coached them that way, that you guys are a fun team to be around all the way around. So good luck to you this Friday as you start district play. I'll be cheering for both teams, so I'm sorry. But that's just kind of where I have to live, right? I gotta live, So maybe can you tie?
No,
Okay.
not around here.
Well,
no.
we do play them another time on a Tuesday.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So I guess if we won one, they won one, but we're gonna win both.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I get in trouble if I say anything else. So good luck to you, though. Seriously, the rest of this year, it's this is a fun program to watch. The playoff games, I just can't wait for it because they're so much fun. They're so intense. Every single point is you're just living on it. Every serve, things like that. So good luck the rest of the way this year. Thanks for joining us. And hopefully we'll be talking to you again soon. Okay.
Thank
All right.
you.
We're going to take a quick break. Thanks to Alpha Graphics for sponsoring this segment. When we come back, Roy City, the Lady Bulldogs. We're going to talk a little bit more volleyball. We'll try and keep these two teams separated during the break.
JFND.
So, all right. Yeah.
Rockwall Ford is a proud sponsor of Rockwall County Game Day. Shop the Rock and score game-changing savings on our all-American lineup of new Fords. Shop our entire inventory online at rockwallford.com or build your truck your way at preordermyf150.com.
and we are back. We're here at Rockwall Ford. This segment brought to you by Vice Henley and Dilbeck attorneys and counselors at law who are located in Royce City. They've been with us a couple of years. We can't thank them enough for the support that they give us. In return, they give the students, because we can't do this kind of stuff without the support of local businesses. So thank you to Vice Henley and Dilbeck. The Lady Bulldogs, Royce City High School. We're going to talk a little bit more volleyball. Pat, Kylie, Elena. All right, so I'll try to. I got to keep saying it. I've said their names like 10 times already, and so they're probably wondering why. But that's because I forget up here, and that's what happens on these live deals. Ladies, thank you for joining us. Let's start with you on the end, Pat. So we've got a few captains, all seniors. Just give me an overview. Tell me how the season's gone in your eye, and where you guys are at.
I think so far we're just our connection this year is so just good overall, and I just feel like it's carrying us through multiple games and hard games. Last Friday was a hard game, but even though it was hard, our connection was just so good, and I feel like just skill wise good too.
Well, the seasons, especially when you look at sports like volleyball, softball, baseball, they're long, right? There's lots of tournaments. There's lots of traveling. It can be a grind. How do you manage the kind of ups and downs? What's your record right now overall?
I think 29 and
5.
29 and 5. But there's even in wins, there's games where, especially when you're playing so much, where there's fatigue and you can come out flat and you really have to battle back into it. Or in the losses, it's just you just weren't into it. How do you go about managing such a long season?
I feel definitely I don't know. Kayla, you want to go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's how we interact with each other, on and off the court. We have such a great bond, so it just makes us stronger as a team. So even with the fatigue or schools over coming us, we just bond as a team, and it helps us out on the court.
I'm coming back to you, Pat.
Okay,
so
no, you're
you're
fine.
not going anywhere. Your role as a captain, you got to wait your turn for this, right? And hopefully you're named as a captain. How much of an honor has it been, and how much have you enjoyed, with that position?
I think it's very it's honestly it's a good role, but I feel we all have our own roles to it. I'm the voice, Kylie's the skill, Ellen is everything pretty much. But I just feel we all we all oh my god, I can't talk.
No, you're good. You're good.
No, I'm sorry. I just feel we all with our roles we all carry it to a higher standard.
The Lady Bulldogs, just kind of what kind of pride do you have right now, playing for this team? How special is the group of girls that you're playing with?
So special. I think our bond, just our humor is just so funny. it's just so welcoming to be on this team.
Yeah. And then finally, before I move on to Kylie, as you guys are getting set for district play, and now, not that nothing counted before, because I think along the way you're trying to get better. You're trying to prepare for now when district play starts, because that's when we talk about qualifying for playoffs and things like that. How much has this team grown throughout the early part of the season?
I feel a lot. I feel during our kind of off season, we were, I guess, average. But I feel we've grown a lot with skill wise, connection wise, and people who are younger in the team, they're more getting comfortable now, doing using their voices, and I feel it's definitely become a bigger impact on the team. Yeah,
and that's what it's all about. I mean, growing, making sure you're ready. I always I don't pay too much attention. This is me with this show and what I do. I don't pay too much attention to records leading into district because I think everybody schedules different caliber of teams. Sometimes they go to different tournaments, and so it's kind of hard to judge where a team is if they go out and they're just playing big time school after big time school after big time school. Well, their record might not be that as good, but at the same time, you could have a team that's undefeated, but maybe they haven't played anybody, right? So it's just for me, it's just about improving every week and getting ready for district play and the playoffs. Kylie, you're a captain as well, and I just want to get your thoughts on this team and where you guys are. Just skill-wise, competitively,
Mm-hmm.
where you guys are at this point in the season.
Competitively, we definitely challenge each other on the court. Like, we'll play 6-on-6, and like we don't just roll over to let the other team on the other side win. Like, we actually compete in practice, and I think that's what makes us better at the end of the day.
Is that where it's made? Practice and just pushing each other. You think that's the difference in what can elevate a team?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This season so far, as you've gone along, and we talked about tournaments, things like that. What are you most proud of this team that they've accomplished to this point?
I think us battling against the hard times. Like, if we're in a rut, like, we come back and like we battle it out.
If you were to start the year and you look back, do you think, to this point, has anything surprised you as far as how good you are, the success you've had, any players? Has anything surprised you along the way this year?
I think as a team, we all like just expect the unexpected all the time, and like
for sure.
we're prepared for the moments that come upon us.
When you who do y'all start district with?
Tyler Legacy.
Tyler
Next
Legacy.
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Mhm.
Okay, so some start Friday. Y'all start next Tuesday.
Yeah.
As you get ready for district play, what's kind of the message? What's the mindset of the team? Is it are you focused on winning just one game? What is it that you focus on as you start district play?
I think we just kind of focus on us a little bit, and then once we start rolling, we'll focus on the other team and like what we can do to outwin the other team.
When you look at this year, at what y'all have accomplished, what are some memories? What's something that stuck out to you that it could be on the trips, things like that? Just what are some things that you've enjoyed the most?
I think the trips too, like just how we interact with each other off the court. Like, it's just so like it's different from other people. Like, it's kind of hard to speak about because it's just so good.
Everybody has their thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's kind of like an inside joke.
It's not very cliquey either.
Yeah.
Like, we're just like a whole bunch of a team.
Yeah.
That's
just
good.
A full team. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of need that, and it's good for the younger players, right? To
Yeah.
see, so that they can. That's what we want to be. That's how it's done. That's how we can get better. And really, it's just about including everybody, whether they're a freshman, sophomore, whatever their role is on the team.
Mm-hmm.
If you make them feel like they're part of it, then they buy in a little bit more. Kylie, just before we let you go, you I'm sure there are some girls that aren't here. Who's a player that you're really proud of, this year for the job that they're doing on or off the court?
I'm definitely proud of Abby. She's one of our juniors. She plays pretty much every position that she gets put into, and she just rolls with it, and she takes it with pride, and she's a dog at it.
Yeah, I love that. So shout out to her, and keep it up this year. Good luck to you. I know you got some milestones. I know you got some milestones that are coming up, and look forward to seeing those and celebrating those once you hit them. Elena, thanks for joining us. You're a captain as well, and was it 3,000 assists that you hit? That's a pretty impressive. That's a big deal. So congratulations on that milestone. I know the goal. The easy answer is, like, if I say what's the goal, it's to win state. But what are some other goals that this team is kind of set? That it's like, hey, this is what we want to do. This is where we want to be.
I would say focusing on our next game. Like, we take it one game at a time. Like, we don't want to jump too ahead of the competition. We want to focus on. We have Tyler Legacy on Tuesday. Focus on them. Win. Focus on our next opponent. So I think we just take it one game at a time.
What do individual accolades, milestones? Is that something that it's you just focus on after the season? Is it something that it's like within the team that you want to celebrate each other, and it's like, hey, let's how big of a deal is that stuff to a team?
I think it's a pretty big deal. Like, we all, especially our team, we get really excited for each other. We're each other's cheerleaders, so once someone hits something, we're all there for her. We cheer for her, and we just take it to heart and we cheer for her.
The goal of a district title. How hungry is this team for the district title this year?
Oh, we want it.
Yeah,
we want it
really bad. Yeah,
really bad, and we're working towards it. Mm-hmm.
the every year's different, right? You seniors graduate, and you have younger girls that come up. What's been different this year about this team?
Does anyone?
I think kind of finding whose role's what, and not necessarily like taking it to heart too much. Like each person needs to know, like, not necessarily know their spot, but like be there for each other.
Find their role.
Find their role.
But yeah, that can be the challenging part, right? Is making sure that whatever chemistry was built last year carries over, and then you just keep building on that as you move towards district play. The whole thing, everything that's going on at Roy City, all the beautiful facilities, and just the excitement that it seems to be coming out of Roy City. And I think I saw posts there was like almost 10,000 kids that enrolled into the district. Just how much fun is it to be a Bulldog right now? In your eyes,
it's a lot of fun. Like, I really enjoy it. We're like, the team makes it fun. Like, these group of girls, they're so special. Like, we have fun every practice, every minute we're together. So they just make it really enjoyable to play volleyball with each other.
Senior year, just how special is it? Just to every point, every day that turns, it's getting closer to the graduation. Just how much are you enjoying your senior year?
I'm enjoying it very much. It's an incredible last year, I would say, to start, especially. I just look forward to every practice, every game with them, every point.
Seniors, how much are y'all enjoying this last year?
It's definitely kind of not real in my head, you know what I mean? Because I still feel like a junior, but like overall, it just feels like so special.
Yeah, because then you got to go get a job and go to
I
school.
know, and then graduate.
And then you graduate, you gotta go get a job, and then life gets real.
Yes.
Just you want it all to slow down as much as possible.
And it's going by so fast too.
Yeah, very fast.
I know.
The Lady Bulldogs, they get set to start district play Tuesday at Tyler Legacy, so you'll travel. It's at home.
Yes.
Okay, sweet. Then Tuesday I will be I'll be at Roy City on Tuesday then, because I didn't have anything on my calendar yet, so now I do. All right, so ladies, just really quickly, just shout out to Coach. What Coach has meant to this team, and obviously, that's the head coach is the leader, right? They set the tone, and they, just how much has Coach, how much has she meant to what you girls are doing?
A lot. She's changed our culture. She's changed everything, and it just means so much to us. It plays a part in how we play. Like, we do it for her too.
The Lady Bulldogs, appreciate you coming by. Thanks so much. Y'all did great. So y'all seemed like y'all were maybe a little bit nervous, but y'all did really well. So I get when y'all get nervous, just so you know, like I get nervous.
I'm sorry.
No, so it's all y'all's fault that we were nervous. Good luck the rest of the way. Seriously, I look forward to seeing you girls play for the first time, and it's going to be a fun ride. There's nothing like. I'm telling you right now, there's nothing like playoff volleyball. It's intense. Every point matters. If a team goes on a 2 or 3 point run, it's like, oh my goodness, like how are they gonna recover from this, or or if it's for the home team, how do you keep it going? But it's such a fun ride. But we'll worry about district games first, and then we'll start thinking about playoffs. So good luck to you. Thanks for coming by, and we'll see you soon enough. That's gonna do it for us. Any shout outs y'all want to say?
Shout out Coach Neil. Shout out Coach Neil.
There we go. We got shout outs.
Hopefully she's watching this if you are.
Yeah.
Shout out Coach Neil.
I think I saw. What'd you say?
Haven Neil.
Yeah, I think I saw.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out Coach Neil.
I have to go back because
you're a bigger role in this team.
Yeah. So Coach Neil. Oh yes. Haven Neal.
Yep. There she is.
Watching. So, thank you to the parents for coming out and bringing the kiddos. We will see y'all next week. Next week we're gonna update on some scores. We got a lot of football this week. Do you have any volleyball games this week at home?
No.
Nothing.
We played yesterday. But
okay.
Yeah, but it wasn't district.
Okay. Yeah. So you got some rest. So that's good. Rest is always good. Good luck to all the teams out there. We got a lot of exciting football this week, and appreciate all the comments for everybody tuning in. Just over 2 hours tonight for us. So that was a good show. Let's go Cowboys. Let's go Dak Prescott. Let's go Royce City Lady Bulldogs. Good luck to you girls this
Thank
season.
you.
That's going to do it for us. Have a good night, and we'll see you guys on game day.